The year is 2024. I released my first video on this channel, which was very successful somehow. Thank you for that. And that video inspired me to keep creating videos that literally no one cared about. And now, over a year later in 2025, I'm bringing Postal back from the depths of my video idea spreadsheet and finally covering Postal 2 VR. Fine, I'll talk about the movie. Running with Scissors cult classic series Postal has a movie. I'm sure a lot of you know about this already, especially since I was asked to make this video more times than I can count on my fingers, and I only have 7 fingers. It's been almost a year now at the time of writing this since I last covered this franchise, so I think it's finally time to re-dive into the world of Postal. But before I do that, I need to explain the backstory of this film first. As revealed in film director Uwe Boll's DVD commentary about the Postal film, he states that the film only even started being drafted because the German Postal fan club proposed a potential idea to him. You can't even purchase the most popular game in the series in Germany. Boll, with a mind full of inspiration, contacted Vince Desi, the CEO of Running with Scissors, who agreed to work on the film, but only if he was a part of the scripting and production process. Desi and Postal 2's director Steve Wick proposed a much grittier story for the film, probably leaning more towards Postal 1 in subject matter. But instead, Boll rejected their idea flat out and insisted on making the film a comedy riddled with political satire. He also decided to use the film as a huge, long, stinky finger to whoever protested his movie or whoever he considered a hater. Well, it seems that plan worked out perfectly. Boll instead appointed assistant director Brian C. Knight to help write the script alongside him instead of Desi, and as such, the Postal movie as we know it was born. No, not that one. Obligatory disclaimer, this film was intended for mature audiences only, and still is. Viewer discretion is advised because literally anything that can be considered offensive or vulgar in this film happens. The opening sequence involves 2 Taliban members discussing the amount of virgins they'll get as a reward for carrying out their attacks on America. To resolve the debate, they end up calling Osama bin Laden, who's played by Larry Thomas, who is a Russian-Romanian Jewish man. Osama tells them there aren't enough virgins to go around, so the hijackers switch course from their attack to a trip to the Bahamas, only for the passengers to break into the cockpit and proceed to crash the plane into the World Trade Center. Yeah, not even 5 minutes into this film and there's already a 9/11 joke. That's gotta be a record of some sort. Directly after this, we skip ahead 5 years into the town of Paradise, Arizona, where the Postal games actually take place. You're introduced to this movie's Postal dude, who's played by Zach Ward, who also played Scut Farkas in A Christmas Story. He's stuck cooped up with his obese and demanding wife, whose name I won't be saying again because last time I did, it upset my parents. True story. Sorry, Mom. As Postal Dude leaves his trailer home to go apply for a job, he's stopped by the landlord, who complains about multiple ordinance rule breaks and threatens to kick him out. One of those complaints was about loud moaning noises and violent shaking of the trailer yesterday afternoon. Postal Dude replies with this banger line.
Oh, okay. Well, at least I wasn't boning my sister, you inbred. Oh, for your information, hillbilly, I wasn't even here yesterday afternoon.
Anyways, here's J.K. Simmons. Yeah, he's in this for some reason.
You serious?
We're then introduced to Habib, the manager of what's presumably the Lucky Ganesh from Postal 2. He's offering a safe space for the Taliban inside of the shop, where they are free to hide from the US government. They'll be important later. But for now, Postal Dude is being interviewed for a new job position at Glutco, which goes just about as good as you would think a job interview at a company named Glutco would go.
I hope you don't mind the recording. We're gonna use it as training later. Right?
Yeah, that's good.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
What is your greatest strength?
I'm a really good team player.
Wrong. What is your biggest weakness?
I'd say I work too hard.
Wrong. How would you move a mountain using only a spoon?
A spoon?
If you were in a box, how would you think outside it?
If you're in...
Wrong. Last question. What is the difference between a duck?
And... What the hell is wrong with you people?
Before leaving the interview, though, Postal Dude is asked to sing the flagship company fight song.
It's not a flag, it's a company, a high-flying company, and it'll cheerfully work you to death. By the time you are old, pension is sold, and your cube will be your casket.
We're then introduced to the denomination of organic monotheism run by Postal Dude's Uncle Dave, who most people remember from Postal 2's Friday segment, as well as his assistant Richie. This is a doomsday cult that believes that the American dream is a living nightmare. We're soon shown in a very uncomfortable scene that Uncle Dave apparently owes over $1 million in back taxes to the IRS. This is also a good time to mention that I'm gonna have to visually censor a lot of shit in this video, because even though you can't see it, that doesn't mean that the William isn't dangling there. After the scene, we're introduced to two police officer characters. They are recurring characters throughout the film. Oh, Jesus! The cop then drops the N-word with that extra little character at the end, and we cut to the Postal Dude waiting in line for a coffee, where we meet Faith the barista, who, again, will be important later. Back at the Doomsday Cult, Postal Dude meets up with Uncle Dave just to hang out again after a long time away. Uncle Dave then explains his financial situation and proposes a plan to get rich quick. Or, well, he tries to, but Postal Dude backs out. He's turned a new leaf to better his name. Literally 30 seconds into the film later, Postal Dude is going to get a welfare check, and next thing you know, literally everyone is getting shot for no reason. Just like a certain video game, but for some reason I can't remember what it is. Not even 10 seconds later, and you can kind of assume what's going on here because the entire scene is unusable for this video. Skipping ahead a little bit, after Postal Dude just shoots a guy for no reason, he agrees to join Uncle Dave in his potential plan. Anyways, hello, Osama. So when does Robert Downey Jr. enter the scene? It is revealed in this scene that Al-Qaeda is planning on shipping Crotchy dolls as part of their master plan. Crotchy being the toy mascot present in most of the Postal games across the series. It isn't revealed why they're a part of Al-Qaeda's plan yet, but they are part of Uncle Dave's big plan.
I will do anything it takes to get the fuck out of paradise. Anything. Anything.
Okay. Take me up the ass.
Uncle Dave explains that due to a tragic accident with the shipping of these Crotchy dolls into the USA, people are reselling them for thousands of dollars. Wow, they did a really good job predicting that one, didn't they? After doing the math, okay, well, after I did the math, because these two are brain dead, if they steal all of those Crotchy plushes and resell them, they'll make roughly $8 million, which will overpay Uncle Dave's landslide by a debt. His landslide by a debt. Read the script. His debt by a landslide. They devised their plan, which goes a little bit like this. The crew goes to Little Germany to steal all the Crotchy dolls without anyone noticing. Dude, Dave, and Richie would do the heavy lifting with the dolls to the van outside of the event, while some of Dave's babes from the Doomsday Cult will distract any security at the event by being women. This isn't a joke. Anyways, J.K. Simmons fucking dies. Postal Dude then holds a mentally handicapped, physically handicapped man hostage to use him as a stepladder. Literally seconds later, that cop that domed in that Asian grandma's skull pulls up, and turns out he's using big ol' Harry here to gather money for himself and keeps him in his garage tube fed. Immediately after the scene, Postal Dude explains the plan to everyone. Oh, come on! Anyways, yeah, the Doomsday guys are here and have a whole ass Bible, and what do you know? We're watching Al-Qaeda. What's up, guys? They're also discussing a plan, taking my whole job. Long story short, they're also going to Little Germany to cause some havoc, but instead of stealing dolls shaped like genitalia, they're giving back to their community by murdering everyone in a homicidal attack. Whoa, who would have seen that coming? Bin Laden then gets a phone call from none other than George W. Bush himself. They are best friends in this movie, just like in real life. Immediately after the scene, Vern Troyer is introduced, playing as himself. Most of you may remember him as Mini-Me from the Austin Powers movies. He'll be a little bit important later, but now let's go see what Postal Dude and the crew are up to. Important to note that this film was released in Germany first. I know I'm jumping all over the place a lot, and I do apologize, but that's just genuinely how this film is paced. It's also worth noting that we are now 41 minutes into this film and literally nothing worth noting has happened. I'm starting to think that the Postal movie of all movies may not be the best. No, not that one either. Welcome to Little Germany, where a festival is being held in celebration of Crotchy, and where Uwe Boll makes his cameo appearance. He's just as insufferable as you'd think he is.
Because you know, there are all that rumors out that my movies are financed with Nazi gold, and it's true. But somebody must do something with the money. I get a little horny here on stage sometimes. If you see the crowd and all the children.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Postal Dude and the gang finally arrive at the festival, and the Postal Babes seduce the security in full Adolf attire. Then my movie decided to freeze on this exact frame for 20 minutes while I was away. After luring the security into the other room, Postal Dude and Uncle Dave finally find Crotchy dolls, right around when Vern Troyer waddles into the festival. And in traditional Postal fashion, Al-Qaeda shows up. Are we really surprised at this point? Anyways, they got the dolls. And, typical postal chaos ensues.
Oh, I'm Vince Desi. What the f*** you do to my game, Postal?
I don't know what your fucking problem is. The movie is great.
Now this entire sequence is where my one huge issue with the movie comes in. If you're a fan of the Postal games like I am, or have watched my previous video, God, this is taking a while to come out, you may recall the ending to the original game in the series, Postal. Stop, that's not in Postal 1's ending, the schoolhouse. Dude runs around on his own in a set path and fires his weapons at a crowd of school children. But none of them end up actually getting harmed. I thought this was a really powerful ending, and I still do, but the movie completely retcons that by showing scenes of the children being shot at the festival, and then showing just piles upon piles of nothing but dead kids at the end of the shootout. Anyways, during this bombshell of a scene, Vern ends up being locked in a suitcase with a light-up dildo and is evacuated alongside the Doomsday crew. This is also when Dude and Faith meet again. She will be important later. Pacing in the movie kinda goes all over the place at this point, as if it wasn't all over the place already. The Doomer crewmers are being chased through the city by the police and Al-Qaeda. Oh no! The Taliban invaded the Doomsday Paradise. Who would have seen this coming? Postal Dude is for some reason still in town while everyone is out searching for him. Guess what he does? Reveals himself accidentally. Uwe, you've really stepped up your script writing for this film. I'm honestly surprised how little cliches there are in this movie. Dude ends up taking a shortcut through the Lucky Ganesh, only to be stopped by another random police officer, who he physically assaults and steals his uniform. Just like a certain game I've played before, but I can't quit. Dude meets back up with the rest of the Doomlings, only for Taliban soldiers to be inside the exact place that they need to go. You can see where this is going. After somehow very loudly sneaking past the guards Metal Gear style, they open up a secret chamber under the Doomsday Paradise where the group is safe for the rest of humanity.
Shut the f*** up. Why don't you shut the f*** up?
You don't think I'll come over there? I'll come with that.
I'll stick this finger up your ass.
Yeah, you and what f***ing ladder?
Richie is super caught up with the end of time, which leads him to show his true colors and reveal his plan to end the world. In another random plot switch, it's revealed that the Taliban also want the crotchy dolls because the shipment from China contained vials of the avian bird flu, or influenza if you will. What the hell is even happening anymore? Somehow, someway, Richie knows all of the Taliban's plans to spread the fluenza of the bird globally. Vern is then sacrificed to the monkey sex chamber where he's brutally molested. I wish I was making this up. Anyways, oh my god. Osama bin Laden is at the hell of a day in learning how to metaphorically dominate his employees, and that is literally all that happens in this scene. Anyways, back in the bombshell, the amount of times I've said anyways in this video is probably more than I've actually made off of any of my videos at this point. Anyways, back in the bombshell kerfuffle. I promise it'll slow down soon. Oh my god. Richie explains that the prophecy of their false religion is to kill the god of the Doomsday cult, that being Uncle Dave. I don't even know how the flying fuck we're at this point, but sure, whatever, man. You do you.
Me! I'm fucking gay! Who the f knew? I had no clue, man, but this explains a lot. Oh, I can finally learn to love myself for who I am. I'm a fucking chubby chaser, too! F it, man! This is great! Wow! You know what? Today is the start of my whole new life. Hey.
For some reason, they decide to spare Dude until the bird flu gets to him. Dude then reveals that he is the only person who knows where the truck filled with the bird flu is parked, and so he needs to live, which warranted this reaction, apparently. Dude is then kicked out of the shelter, which allows his expert electrical engineering skills to shine. Okay. Yada yada, the Postal Babes join Dude on his journey back to find Richie and just go home at this point. Dude and two babes end up escaping, and they decide to leave the cult forever.
Don't worry, we've decided to be Christians.
After the two leave, he finally puts on the classic Postal Dude shades and heads back home, not before getting chased again by that same crowd as before. He then meets up with Faith again in an alleyway after absolutely mowing through the crowd of pedestrians like the Gatling pea shooter in Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2. Postal Dude rigs up a bomb to his trailer, where his wife is just going at it with the cops inside. I hate this movie so much. If you couldn't see this coming by now, all of the shooting ends up circling right around Postal Dude's mobile home, and literal minutes of nonsense gunfighting ensues. I'm not even joking. Every single individual piece of this car that the two are hiding behind is shot off one by one just to drag out the film. Not before Postal Dude tries to de-escalate the situation first.
We're not that different. Because we all come from the same family, known as humanity. And what do families do? Do they fight? Yeah, sure. But they work it out because they love each other. And they know that they're stuck with each other, just like all of us are. Here, on this crazy big mud ball called Earth. So come on, people. Let's try and find some common ground, huh?
Well, we all hate Jews.
Considering that there's 17 minutes left in this film, this obviously didn't work. Now they blast off every single piece of the car individually. I don't even think I need to explain this ending scene anymore, if I'm being completely honest. It's just Postal. No! Osama bin Laden ends up escaping, however, and just calls his homeboy young jit George W. Bush. Okay, I wrote this in my script, and I don't remember this. His homeboy young jit Georgie W. Bushy. It's genuinely at that point where I can't explain without going back to my original Postal video from last year. Damn! Pointless violence and pointless comedic violence. Anyways, the Taliban fucking explode and die. While the dude and Faith are trying to escape, Ritually is finally finished once and for all, leaving paradise a rotten wasteland of corpses, with Faith and the dude being the only surviving inhabitants. Oh, and Champ too. Yeah, Champ's in this movie. Oh, yeah, the wife is still alive too. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole movie, except for the very last scene, where Osama bin Laden and Georgie W. are frolicking through a field where several nukes are landing, destroying all of humanity as we know it. With one last blast, the movie is finished. It's better than Postal 3 at least. Overall, this movie is a weird experience, and that's genuinely the nicest thing I can say about it. It definitely had its moments that got a good laugh out of me, but those laughs were drowned out hard by the several gross out, sex, and genuinely disturbing scenes. Not to mention the amount of 1940s German imagery and outright nudity I had to censor for this was considerably higher than every game in the series combined, and that isn't even scratching the surface for the extra scenes of the director's cut that I chose not to put in. This movie is genuinely an experience that is so entirely hit or miss in my perspective. I'm attending university studying film production, so I can see literally everything wrong with this film and its writing, but at the same time, from a casual film watcher's point of view, it's teetering the line between so bad that it's good and too gross and cringy at times to be funny. It doesn't meet that balance anywhere in my eyes. Osama bin Laden, the Middle Eastern terrorist, was played by a Russian-Romanian Jewish man. And finally, one more thing before I go. Some of the soundtrack for this film was composed by none other than Mick Gordon, the Doom 2016 guy. What?